invest yourself in passion for cinema, because what else?
What else? He has a voice that doesn't alienate anybody. He has a very inclusive cinematic voice.
You express yourself so freely. You verbalize your emotions so easily.
मैंने तो अभी कंट्रोल किया है. मैंने तो 2-3-4 साल पहले मैं पूरा रोने वाला था. आप मुझे जो क्या होता है इंटरव्यूज में आपको वो चीजें याद दिला देते हैं ना, वो साल करके I've become a grown person who generally wears my emotions on my sleeve. It helps me in my craft. Even 10 years into business, people still think I'm some Delhi ka londa. Such was the impact of Band Baja Barat. मैंने तो अपने डैडी को 7वीं कक्षा में बोल दिया था कि डैडी ये धंधा हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा.
You're actually a trained actor. You were a theatre actor in Delhi. You studied acting from Indiana University in the US.
Halfway through university, I by chance took an acting class. After many years, I acted in that class, and I was like, man, this is it, yaar. This is who I am. So, जो 3.5 साल में गुजारे in search of a break, I always hold that dear. That kept me going in those 3.5 years was self-belief. मेरा tool belt यहाँ तक full है, पर पीछे भी चाहिए मुझे. मुझे पूरा चाहिए. फिर मैं 2 बेल्ट लगाऊंगा ऐसे और ऐसे, फिर पीछे भी लगाऊंगा. कुछ भी चाहिए आपको, कुछ भी चाहिए. मैं ऐसे ऐसे.
Ranveer, I have to tell you this. You are the man who is invoking this kind of feeling in myself and in many others. Look at this man, what he is doing, and look at us, what are we doing of our life? Boss, थोड़ा लिफ्ट करने की जरूरत है. I'm telling you, यार. And you know, जैसे भंसाली आपको बोलते थे शॉट के बाद, I want to say something to you. I want to say something to you. Hi, मेरे Daniel Day-Lewis.
क्या बात है.
You floored.
बहुत सारे कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स मिले हैं पिछले कुछ एक हफ्तों में, लेकिन ये बहुत बड़ा वाला था जी.
I think you are moving into that direction where you are going to be India's Daniel Day-Lewis, and I might sound a little too brave for Dilip Kumar fans, but I do a show in which I review films, and I said that when I came out of the theater, I thought Kabir Khan is modern day K. Asif, the keen-eyed love for detail, and Ranveer Singh is modern day Dilip Kumar. And I'll tell you why. It's a big thing to tell you. It's a big upadhi to give you, but I'll tell you why. उन्होंने एक फिल्म की थी राम और श्याम. अगर आप उनके कैरेक्टर को देखें और गली बॉय को देखें तो वो वही पैथोस नजर आता है जो राम में था. दूसरी है उनकी एक फिल्म थी आन, that swashbuckling man that he was, and you in Dil Dhadakne Do were quite similar. Then there was this film called Devdas, and you in Bajirao had that pathos. And of course, Khilji and Mughal-e-Azam, that Salim जब वो कहता है कि आप मेरे बाप हैं लेकिन आपको मेरी जिंदगी पे इख्तियार नहीं, मेरी मोहब्बत पे इख्तियार नहीं. That arrogance you portrayed in that film. तो ये जो diversity है और ये जो love for ये craft है, that is not just making you go crazy, that is making your fans and your audience also go crazy, Ranveer. Thank you for having this crazy news.
Thank you, ma'am. यही तो मतलब भगवान ने इतना सुनहरा मौका दिया है कि आप हिंदी फिल्मों में एक्टर बन सकें. तो अब मौका दिया है तो आप पूरी तरह से उसको जस्टिफाई कीजिए. बिकॉज व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड मैम, लाइक इट वाज miraculous that I even got a chance to become an actor. And I always value my opportunities an immense amount, like tremendously, from my heart and soul. And from that kind of gratitude and from that kind of gratitude really comes this burning passion that I just want to make the most of this opportunity that I have of being an actor, and make the most of each opportunity. I've had the good fortune of being launched by Yashraj. I've had the good fortune of being able to collaborate with the finest filmmakers of his cinema and explore more stories than one, more characters than one with each one of them, and I've learned something from each one of them. I've grown and evolved as a performer. So मैंने जैसे गली बॉय में वो डायलॉग है ना कि ऊपर वाले ने मुझे ये तोहफा दिया है और मैं वापस नहीं करूंगा। तो ऊपर वाले ने मुझे ये जो तोहफा दिया है कि चलो तुम्हारी लाइफ लॉन्ग ड्रीम को पूरा कर देते हैं, तुम एक्टर बनने देते हैं। तो ये जब रियलाइज हो गया तो वो आई प्रोटेक्ट इट एंड वैल्यू इट एंड नर्चर इट with that to that degree.
I was just in conversation with Pankaj Tripathi for the film 83, and I told him that, in many cities in India, still cinema is not taken seriously. Actors are not taken seriously. Directors are not taken seriously. They only take politicians seriously or officers, bureaucrats seriously, IS officers seriously. They don't take cinema. But the work that you're putting in, the energy that you're putting in, you are upping your quotient, and you're just bringing more grace and more respect to the medium. Thank you for that.
Thank you, ma'am. I feel like we have the talent. Yes, our cinema has a long way to go in terms of its evolution. We started late. There are other cinemas around the world started that had a head start. But like in 83, I genuinely, like Kapil believed, I also genuinely believe that हम किसी से कम नहीं हैं. We like, let's say, Bong Joon-ho did with Parasite. I feel like we are at the cusp of happening, that a film coming out of our country can get that kind of global recognition and appreciation.
Yeah.
And I think that after having put in 10 years of work, after having seen Touchwood, grace of God, critical acclaim along with box office success, after having, collaborated with filmmakers, gotten awards, I feel like now I really feel like I find myself that in a place where I want to do something that's not done before, or do something that, it's like, I feel like Hindi cinema, Indian cinema ought to and deserves to have that kind of global recognition. We don't work any less hard than anybody else. And I feel like it's just a matter of time, and our time is now. I think that वो दिन दूर नहीं है जब we'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with the best films, the filmmakers around the world. Like Parasite, a film made in Korea that deals with something specifically about the class divide in Korean culture. We could have something like that, a film that make us proud on the world stage. But this is just one of my aspirations. I would not say this is my whole and soul focus, but one of my aspirations is to जब आपने इतना जब आप कुछ अचीव कर पाओ, जब आप किसी मोड़ पर पहुंच जाओ, तो फिर उसके आगे क्या? I want to do continue do more of the same, take the same kind of risks, create memorable films and characters, contribute towards memorable films, create memorable characters, and more of the same. Really, I am hungrier than ever before to do more.
I know. इब्तिदाई इश्क है, रोता है क्या, आगे आगे देखिए होता है क्या. Amazing. Bhansali said once in an interview that he is one actor who matches my energy when it comes to cinema. Now, on what grounds do you and Kabir Khan share the same footing? What are the things that bind you?
What I'm really grateful for is the diversity in the kind of cinematic voices that I've engaged with. Like Mr. Bhansali हैं, तो रोहित शेट्टी सर भी हैं, जोया अख्तर भी है, कबीर खान भी है, विक्रमादित्य मोटवानी है, मनीष शर्मा है. So I've gotten to work with many different kinds of filmmakers and challenge myself in their world. It's their canvas, and I'm a part of it. And becoming a part of such diverse canvases has helped me grow as an artist. Having said that, I would say Mr. Bhansali was one of the earliest directors who really shaped me into the artist I am. I often say it, and I discuss with my current co-actor Alia as well, because she's just completed a Bhansali film. I discuss with my wife, who's done multiple movies. I feel like working with Sanjay Leela Bhansali is or a creative person, an artist, a technician, just about anybody contributing to the creative aspect of filmmaking, I feel like working with him is like a rite of passage. आपको जैसे स्ट्राइप्स मिलेंगे या बैज मिलेगा, एक बार आपने मिस भंसाली के साथ काम कर लिया, then you feel like you feel empowered. Kabir sir is somebody who I admire for, again, his work ethic, and somebody who I admire for his crystal clarity. He does so much homework that by the time he comes to set, it's all been worked out, and I recognize how much work it takes. It's like 83 itself is such a mammoth undertaking. There's a reason nobody made it for so many years, is because it's such a big film and complicated film to mount. But have taken up that challenge, just imagine all the homework he must have done, like a very, very complicated mathematical equation, working everything out to the minutest detail to arrive at a certain thing. Now, what is that thing? That is the euphoria that you also, maybe Bhaya Kiya, that you also felt at the end of the film and when you came out. What people must have felt in 83 to recreate that 38 years later inside a cinema hall when you're telling the story, it really takes some mastery. Most of all, I feel very comfortable working with Kabir because he's a really, this is what I love the most about him. He's a really nice man. He's a good man. On that goodness that he has as a person, that righteousness, that it shines through in his storytelling, shines through in his film. He's just a lovely human.
And there is no bias. Even the film didn't have any villain. It just had an aggressive opponent, but no villain. You didn't feel like killing the players. You didn't never, as a viewer, I never felt the animosity for those players.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of craft. I feel like Kabir sir, he has a voice, and this is what I love the most about his cinema. He has a voice that doesn't alienate anybody. He has a very inclusive cinematic voice, in the sense that his language of storytelling and his language of cinema is something that can be seamlessly received by a very wide spectrum of audience. जो फिल्में वो बनाते हैं, वो बच्चे देख सकते हैं, बूढ़े देख सकते हैं, people appreciate कर सकते हैं. Not a section of the audience that ever feels left out or alienated. He makes films and tells stories that are for everyone, and that's one of the things I love most about him.
You are a fresh breath of air. We were conditioned to see actors as, actors were not supposed to be so easy and transparent. You cry so easily. You like so natural. जैसे कि हमारे घर के कोई आदमी होगा, बिल्कुल वैसे ही रणवीर नजर आता है. And before you, actors were supposed to be mysterious. They were supposed to be a little reserved. You express yourself so freely. You verbalize your emotions so easily. Before you, leading men were not allowed to do this, or probably their PR agencies or the people around them didn't allow them to do this. What makes you express your inner fears and happiness and the gullible happiness like a child so easily? I've seen you cry in almost every big interview that you've done in the last 10 years, and it's so heartwarming.
मैंने तो अभी कंट्रोल किया है. मैंने तो 2-3-4 साल पहले मैं पूरा रोने वाला था. आप मुझे, जो क्या होता है इंटरव्यूज में, आपको वो चीजें याद दिला देते हैं ना, वो साल करके वो आप अपनी जर्नी के बारे में याद दिला देते हैं. तो जब those things that are so dear to me, that are so close to my heart, जब उनकी बात निकलती है, कैसे ही, मतलब I feel that kind of emotion, I never lose sight of that kid who wanted nothing more than to become an actor, who worked towards it, in spite of the odds being like 1,000,000 to 1. और कैसे ही हो गया यार, मतलब सच में I can think of no other word than miracle. It's a miracle that I even became an actor. So when we do interviews, they point out certain things and you kind of realize how blessed you've been, and that makes me emotional. Of late, in the past 2-3 years, being generally quite an empathetic and expressive person. Um, I try and keep um, I try and keep very very few filters or barriers between my emotion and my expression. That's who I've cultivated myself to be. I feel like what I'm feeling, it happens, it becomes, it just gets expressed. And that's that helps me when I'm in my craft, as an actor. That's very important. And that's the person I've become. If I'm feeling something, most of the time it gets expressed, unless I'm making some kind of conscious effort to not express or to hide something. So I've grown into a person who generally wears my emotions on my sleeve. Um, and it helps me in my craft. Generally, I don't like being so open. I wish that I had kind of filled more a bent of mine to be able to create a filter. um, I always wear camera. I'm always wearing some kind of thing on my eyes because I feel like they're the window to the soul, and not everybody is mindful in when engaging with you. So I kind of, this is like my protection. Um, and yeah, a lot of my fans keep complaining that you're always covering your eyes, but I'm scared. Generally, I don't think everybody. It's very open. It leaves you very vulnerable. So that's why I do it. But yeah, like you said, I am that person, and I feel like that helps me in my craft. Yeah. Lastly, the point I wanted to make, it was especially in the past 2-3 years, being an empathetic person, when you see everything that's happened in the world, I think we're living in a very very strange time, a very difficult time. When you see what's happening with people because of the pandemic, when you
Yes.
see what's happening, the environment, when you see the plight of so many of your fellow brothers and sisters around the world, but um, all close to home within the country. uh, it's affected so many people in such a big way that even within 1 degree of separation, you can see the effects of what has been happening in the world for the past 2-3 years almost firsthand. And
Yes.
it really pains me. So the past 2-3 years, and the past 2 years, I think the time that since the time this pandemic hit,
Mm.
um, it's done something to me that I find to be, it's like here my emotions are always like here, yahan par. Because you open the phone or you open the news, you see, basically, generally, you hear what's happening around you, you experience it, talk to people, and you understand what's happening in the world around you. It's such a time of
Yes.
suffering
Yes.
that being an empath, or it can be a bit difficult. Sometimes you have to consciously make it a point to detach or disconnect,
Yeah.
because it has that much effect on you. But generally, since the past 2.5 years, like, my emotions are here, man. They're like, it's just, I see too much pain and suffering, and it affects me.
Thank you for being so empathetic. Thank you. It makes you a better person, a better artist. Uh, you know,
Yeah, I yes.
yeah, it is so difficult to even associate failure with you now. एक शेर था कि जिसको बेदार न कर पाई किसी की ठोकर, एक फनकार के हाथों से वो पत्थर जागा.
Ah,
You know, it's difficult to associate your those years before Band Baja Barat, because I know that you went through a difficult time, a couple of years of failures, and not the world not being able to see and sense your talent, and then you just bowl it out of the court, out of the boundary. But very few people know that you're actually a trained actor. You were a theater
mm,
actor in Delhi. You studied acting from Indiana University in the US. uh, not very many people know that. They think you're a natural actor, दिल्ली का लड़का ये तो. लेकिन आपने क्राफ्ट को समझा है, इसको पढ़ा है. Now tell me, what are those proper tools that you have studied and understood as a student that you are employing now that makes you a great actor?
uh, I do realize that even 10 years into business, people still think I'm some Delhi ka londa. Such was the impact of Band Baja Barat, my
Yeah.
first character, Sharma. Because they had no clue about me. I came out of absolutely nowhere
Yeah.
and made an impact role in Band Baja Barat of Bittu Sharma.
Yeah.
Since that day, people think I'm some Delhi ka londa. They don't realize that I'm actually from Mumbai, that I'm born and raised in Mumbai, that didn't have any clue about Delhi culture till I did homework for Band Baja.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, I've been inclined towards performance art ever since I was in school. I was all right in academic, I was all right in sports, but where I used to really shine was the performing, debate,
Nice.
drama, dance.
Mm.
And my teachers always recognized and pointed out that I really had some kind of ability, special ability in that realm. So I knew it from a very early age that these are my inclinations.
Mm.
It's also the one thing that gives me most joy and fulfillment. So I knew that I'm a performer. I'm naturally wired to be that way.
Mm.
Unfortunately, school didn't have the best infrastructure to encourage kids with talent in this area. Back in the day, this something about the turn of the century, there were no examples or not enough examples of people making it into the entertainment business from outside. You
Mm.
know, given that was the state of affairs,
Mm.
I looked around me and everybody was, a Kapoor or a Khan, or, this is around the turn of the century. There were no examples to
Mm.
go by कि अगर ये कर सकता है तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. Prime opportunities are reserved for those with legacy. And that's just the way it was. So given how far-fetched a thought it was for me to become an actor, I kind of gave up on that dream and I decided to pursue writing. Halfway through university, I by chance took an acting class. After many years, I acted in that class and I was like, man, this is it, yeah. This is who I am. This is what I'm cut out for. This is what I love doing.
Wow.
So I want to take my chances.
Mm.
Um, so I abandoned that plan of becoming a copywriter. I told my parents I want to come back to Bombay and try and become an actor.
Mm.
And they were very, very supportive.
Mm.
But then again, it's not so simple. OTT tab tha nahi us zamane mein.
Mm.
Now, when I speak with, and I love to speak to aspiring actors, whenever there's an aspiring actor who comes up to me, I definitely make it a point to give them my time, attention, and tips. Because I know what it means. I've been there, I've been in their position, and I wish that somebody would just give me some advice, a time that would help me in whatever way.
Mm.
And it was never forthcoming. So I kind of make it a point to pay it forward. So now when they come, I'm like, तुम तो बहुत अच्छा है यार. आज तुम जिस जमाने में आ रहे हो, OTT है, 50-100 चैनल है, इतने तो shows बनते हैं. तो you being just an aspiring actor from the outside, मैं जब 2008-9 में 7, 8, 9, 10 में मैं कर रहा था तो ये सब था नहीं. There were only so many films being made, then only so many films being made with newer actors, and just so many chances that some big producer might make a film with you. We
So,
came at a time where the opportunities were less.
yeah.
Now there are more channels, more web series, more people coming on the basis of merit. पूरा industry का पूरा नक्शा बदल गया है casting के lens से. So I feel like this is a better time, and therefore I encourage them. I'm like, go out and find work, and I'm sure you will. हमारे टाइम तो ऐसे नहीं था.
नहीं था.
तो जो 3.5 साल में गुजारे in
Mm.
search of a break,
Mm.
um, I always hold that dear. And the one thing that kept me going in those 3.5 years was self-belief. I knew I was good, because whenever I'd act in school, I was the lead role. I was the best. Whenever I did it in college, again, I was widely acclaimed as a really good actor. Even when I went to Indiana University, every class that I was a part of, it was it was established that I was amongst the stronger actors, if not the strongest. I feel like acting can give you the tools,
Mm.
but it's not a craft that really can be taught. You need to have some kind of natural ability in order to be able to do that. When I watched Jay Bhai Jordar, for example,
Yeah.
I did the film, and maybe a year and a half, I watched the film and I was like, why, yaar? I feel like now, 10 years into the business, I'm wearing some sort of tool belt of acting, which has got now everything in it.
सब है
And
हाँ
सब है, सब collect कर रखा है मैंने 10 साल में.
डायरेक्टर
अब
तुमको क्या चाहिए मेरे को बताओ.
अब और मुझे अब तो मैम नीचे भी नहीं देखना पड़ता है कि ये कहाँ था यार, ये कहाँ था. अब तो मैं यहाँ बिना देखे कर सकता हूँ. सो आई एम हैप्पी टू सी दैट, बिकॉज जयेश भाई कर ली, 1.5 साल बाद पिक्चर देखी, तब सब फ्रेश आता है ना. सो आई वो हैव ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, आई एम वाचिंग माय परफॉर्मेंस लाइक भाई यार, योर टूल किट इज तो वेरी, आई वाज इम्प्रेस्ड बाय दैट. The biggest hurdle most of them face is this thing of inhibition. If they can get past the inhibitions, and really actor क्या करता है यार, he opens up his soul, lets you peek.
बिल्कुल.
तो लोगों में इतना inhibition होता है, वो बंद ही करके रखते हैं, और वो एक बार वो खुल गया ना, तब मामला जम जाएगा. So I I always encourage them to go up in front of the class, go up in front and go and do some kind of form for people. It's okay for you to perform in one room with yourself in front of the mirror. तब कोई देख नहीं रहा है, आप conscious नहीं रहते उस time पे. But to do it in front of people, that takes some doing.
अच्छा चलिए 10 सेकंड का परफॉर्मेंस करके दिखाइए. एक हाथ अंदर की तरफ, एक हाथ बाहर की तरफ.
ऐसे
एक हाथ clockwise and the other hand anti-clockwise.
ऐसे ही होगा ना क्या होगा? This kind of physical dexterity is something I want to improve in myself as an actor. I always find there to be scope for improvement. I tell a lot of my colleagues and filmmakers and instructors that I want to get better as a dancer, and they're like, what do you mean, yeah? You're a damn good dancer. And I'm like, no. When I see Hans performances, I aspire to be like that. Okay, I'm perhaps not a technical dancer, you can say, but want to bring in that technique in my repertoire, you know. But there are so many skills that I feel like I want to improve. There are so many tools I feel like I can still acquire. It's like मेरा tool belt यहाँ तक full है, पर पीछे भी चाहिए मुझे. मुझे पूरा चाहिए. फिर मैं 2 बेल्ट ऐसे लगाऊंगा, ऐसे और ऐसे, फिर पीछे भी लगाऊंगा. कुछ भी चाहिए आपको, कुछ भी चाहिए, मैं ऐसे ऐसे आपको. I want to constantly be in this state of learning and evolution.
You're a very passionate actor. You know, publicly it has been said that this movie 83 is a 125 crore film. I was just talking to Pankaj Tripathi. She says, "Arey madam, aap kahan hain? Usse bhi zyada ki film hai ye." Now, Deepika is also a co-producer in the film. Tell me, you are an actor also in the film, and in a way, a co-producer too. What are the safe bets and the unsafe bets you have taken with the film?
Ma'am, I've consciously tried to stay away from these aspects of cinema, filmmaking, movie business. I feel like it'll start affecting my artistic integrity. I feel like it'll start affecting my choices as an actor. I feel like it'll start affecting a lot of things in ways that I don't want. I don't want to get caught up in the money game. I don't want to be caught up in in number game. You know, I'm just very, very protective of my artistic integrity and my focus on becoming a better performer. Team keeps telling me that I need to start, getting involved at least to some degree with, how a project is designed or mounted, or तो मुझे मेरा कोई लेना देना है नहीं यार. मैं इन चीजों में देखता नहीं हूँ, मेरा कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है प्रोड्यूसर बनने. इफ आई बिकम अ प्रोड्यूसर, आई विल मोस्ट सर्टेनली probably just be in the creative side of things. मैंने तो अपने डैडी को 7वीं कक्षा में बोल दिया था कि डैडी ये धंधा हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा. My father is a businessman and touchwood a very accomplished one at that. So I told him at a very early age that I'm not cut out for numbers. There's that वो right या left side जो भी होता है वो मेरा काम ही नहीं करता है. Maths, accounts ये सब में मैं fail हूँ. तो business अपने को आता है नहीं, हम businessmen है नहीं, हम artist हैं, तो हम इन चीजों में घुसते ही नहीं है. I just keep my energies focused on and with a great amount of devotion I only have that much time and that much energy. I have a lot of it, but I want to devotion kya hota hai when there is just purity in
True.
your engagement with that one thing. So I'm devoted to my craft, my opportunities as a performer and as an artist, and I'm very, very protective of my artistic integrity. I'm very mindful that not be corrupted. अगर ऐसा होता मैम तो there are several choices I've made in my filmography that I would not have made.
Not have.
You know, there were so many people. Even I'll give you the most recent example. There's so many people telling me कि 83 नहीं करनी चाहिए तुम्हें. क्यों आप इस स्टेज पर हो जब पूरी की पूरी फिल्म आपके ऊपर माउंट हो सकती है. आपको इन एंड एज करना चाहिए. आप ही होने चाहिए पोस्टर और कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. कोई नहीं होना चाहिए राइट पे. तो these are the things I want to stay away from. मैं आर्टिस्ट हूँ और मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. मुझे उस धंधे करने का या मुझे इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं है. मुझे लालच भी नहीं है. I'm just my thoughts, energies, and my soul is devoted to my craft.
मेरे डैनियल डे लुइस, हमारे दिलीप कुमार, करने की जरूरत भी नहीं है. You've just taken a beautiful leap in your career and invest yourself in passion for cinema because what else?
What else for?
Amazing, kudos. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You are a great actor. Thank you.